Good morning. Come on in. It's going to be a busy morning, and I've decided to take the day off. I've been working way too hard lately, and we got record hot temperatures here, so I thought let's start the morning off with visiting my YouTube friends, and I'm so glad to have you join me. I also want to thank the people that have been sending in PayPal donations to help with getting these projects we're doing to people in the mail. And down below the video, I'll send my email. It will be always there when I remember to put it there for any pictures you want to send, questions you want to ask, anything like that. So we are going to repot these two new babies, and then we're going to be taking a tour to two other places so that I can show you a few other things. So I decided that the pots are so small that I'm watering them every second day. I might be able to wait an extra day with this pot, so I thought, well, that'll be okay. And I've decided not to put holes because they do like to be a little more humid. And the other thing is, this is just clay, not painted, so it will evaporate easier, and it's so hot. I think this would be best. I've been keeping them wet, so it's adding some humidity to the little pot that I've been keeping in there. And I'll show you where I've been keeping them later. So I've been soaking this bark for a few days, maybe 4 or 5. And this morning I picked out some of the smaller pieces for these ones, similar to what they're in. There might be the odd bigger ones. So, and because it's such a small pot, I'm not worried about putting some charcoal in it, because that would sweeten it for pots where the water's hanging around longer and could start to smell or create problems. So I'm just sticking with the bark, and I'm going to put a little bit of bark in the bottom, and I've got fairly good size. I thought of all the ways I could do this and not disturb them very much, and I thought of waiting, but I thought, you know, I think I'm going to just repot them. So I've got about that much bark. I think I can put a little bit more bark in the bottom, judging by this pot. I think that's pretty good. I don't mind them sitting a little lower. That will also add to some of the humidity around. Okay, so then I'll give you a close-up. So I'm going to move this, and later we'll be going other places, and I'll see you again. Oh, and seeing I'm in the sun. When we were garage sailing, and I got a few things to show you later, but when we were garage sailing, I got this beautiful 925 silver cross with hearts. I love the hearts. For 25 cents. There was a tiny bend, and Jack has a soldering iron and a little bit of silver, and he fixed it. He's so good at everything. So I just love it. And for Father's Day, I had a beautiful, everybody's father, I had a beautiful necklace with hearts for love. So I was happy with that. So I'm going to give you a close-up of this. And sitting outside, it's hard to really show this up close. See what I'm doing. Let's move in just a little bit. It'll take me a minute here. Oh, I see one. I see one. Okay, that should be good. Okay, I know I was picturing this one, so I'll go against the white, and I'll put this one here. So what I'm going to do is just, because I've got the layer about right, so maybe I should take a little bit more out. Pour it out there. They're doing really good. Okay. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, they look okay. There. Now hopefully that wasn't too bad. And I'm just going to put a little bark around. I'm not playing with their roots or anything. I'm just getting them in there. So I've been wetting those tiny little pots every second day. And I don't mind doing that. I mean, we're home anyway. There. So there's one. And I won't mention, you know, you guys are so attentive knowing I missed that. And I did took some advice from, I think it was Sheila, to put the date that I got it on the back of the tag. So that was excellent advice. I learn a lot from my subscribers too, who many of them are excellent growers of orchids. And that's what I like. I like to share everything, you know. Years past, I tried many different methods, and I ended up with just bark. And for me, that works good. But every little home, every little area, there's little tweakings you can do. And experiment. That's part of the fun. But don't do it with them all at once. If you're experimenting, just, you know, take one and say, okay, I'm going to experiment with this one. But remember, if you move one you've had a while and it's established and happy, I wouldn't experiment really with that one. But it's all individual. Okay, we got these guys in. And it is going to be probably in the high 30s today. We've been breaking heat records all around us. So we'll be taking these in. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to come back in a different place and you'll see them in their home. We'll do a little bit more talking about what's going on, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, here we are in the dining room, and I want to show you a few more things. I got this beautiful humidifier. I was at this garage sale, and it was one that could be used for putting aromatherapy in also. And she says, I don't know, it's only worth like $2. I said, okay, $2. And I always look inside, but you can order the little discs that fit inside. There's some water in this. Just a minute. There we go. Okay, these little discs, they're the same. House of Hydro uses a bigger one, but in these they use small ones. But you can order replacement discs. If you purchase something from House of Hydro, and I don't get paid, but they are going to donate free 6 of their little discs for the misters. I always use theirs in my misters, and they last a long time, but they always send 3 spare discs with theirs. So if the disc goes, there's a little key and you just put a new replacement disc in. So, but these are smaller ones and you can order them online, and these work similar. Just a little, not quite as much mist, but they work good. And for $2, I put some hydrogen peroxide in it, in the water, and I let it run for a whole afternoon probably to get the smell out of it. That's why there was a bit of water in it. So it works wonderful. So I got that, but I couldn't believe it, $2. I gave her $5. It was a teenage girl, older teenage girl, and she looks at the $5. Oh, she says, how much do I owe you? And I'm like, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was the shock of the garage sale or something, but she could not figure out that she had to give me $3. I don't know. You know, our grandchildren, we had them a few years ago, and we went garage sailing, and they couldn't read the time on a clock. I asked them what time it was on our watch, and they're used to metric. They're used to the numbers being there. Things are different. So anyway, I got this and the necklace. And the other thing we're in here for is because, oh yeah, and we got a misting bowl. Now, this is the exact same misting bowl, and I'll show you that when I close out on this portion. I've had in the window for a long time. It's vintage, it's just clear glass. And I got the perfect stand that goes with it. So this is the stand, it's matching, it's about the same year, and it sits really nicely on there. So I have to make the mister thing to hold the disc, and find some matching little dishes for the top so that you can sit. Like if I have a plant I'm nursing, I make sure there's a place to put a saucer, and I will sit it in the center of that saucer so the humidity's always around it. So I'll get that all set, and this is going to be the first mister giveaway. So we are moving on. It's going to be happening. I figured July, August, but it probably will be July. I have to get up to date on all the rules and stuff. That's so boring to me, but apparently YouTube requires it. So anyway, so that was $3. I'm sorry, you guys. I have to be honest, but we hunt and we know something good when we see it. So the other thing is, and I'm going to show you first, and I'm going to disappear again. Okay. Now we're just going to move this up. Now I have these pictures on the wall. Now I have 2 on the wall on each side of this TV. Now those are pictures that I got the frames. I was so happy to get them at another sale, years ago. And I got tiles. There were similar pictures to these on printed paper. So I got tiles, and porcelain tiles, and I painted on them. So I have to show you that first. Now we're going to back up, and I'm going to show you what I got. For $3. It just seemed to be a lucky number. This is a printed painting in here. It's the same frame, and you know what it costs to get this centerpiece. There's a couple dings on it, so you know it's kind of used. That's why she said $3. So what happens is I take the printout. I'm going to paint a picture of Jack and I in here. I'm going to do that, I thought, just for fun. And so this winter I got a few painting projects, and it'll match my other ones, and I'll do it on porcelain tile. So I'm going to show you where the babies are hiding, and I'm trying out this mister. It's Le Volt. It's on 2. There's 3 little things, but because until I get my garden window, I'm waiting for a quote to see how much a garden window would cost me, because this is where I want it. And then this gets they get lots of morning light because this is north. But because they also want to stay cool, I have to keep them here. So I also have my prayer plant down here, it's been doing really good. It's happy down there. And the rabbit foot fern, sort of keeping it company till I get my window. And I have water in here, so they have that. And so now they probably, maybe I might get away with watering every 3 days. So, and there's a close-up of the bowl, how it looks. It's going to be beautiful when it gets all put together. I have to find the right pieces. So like I have 2 paintings, one on each side that I did. Of course, you can tell we love to play. So, and over here, that mister is the same as this one. It's the exact size, design, everything. It has a shorter stand. If I could find one like that, I might do it, but it's still fine. So what I need is the perfect dish for the top to set a plant in, and the perfect dish to put over to prevent water splashing out. And that's very important because you don't want to mess all around. You don't want water on your plants. And this works perfect. Never had any trouble. The size of them makes a big difference. So I'm going to move on to our next venue. I'll be right back. Back out in the patio. It's, I think, 85 out here, but it feels nice. And I have a fan right here, so the orchids will get breeze, I will get breeze. I'm all set up with my paint brushes. Now, I sanded the traffic cone really good, and I put on my golden gesso. Now, I have some cheaper gesso I use for lawn ornaments and things, but it's bumpy, and I didn't want that. So I used my good gesso on it. So it's ready for what's going to happen is I also painted part in the bottom, because in the bottom I'm going to paint the watercolor that the koi are going to be in. And because the pot only goes so far down, when you look through these holes, I might be able to paint some koi fish that you'll see in water when you look through the holes. So that's part of that idea. And I also had to paint a little bit down so if the medium that's in your pot is covered. And so then you won't see orange because there will be a pot in there. Or you can slip in your own garden pot. So I am doing this today. I'm taking a day off. And if you want to see my funny sketch, I'm going to show you my funny sketch and a close-up of the orchids before I leave. So, I know, this is funny. I'm planning on lily pads and koi and daylight shining through trees and branches with orchids. I mean, it's a little bit crazy, but that's the kind of thing I do. Jack and I sit and brainstorm. So let's go have a look at the orchids and see what else we can get into over here. Okay, this is the two. Okay, this was my orchid. It's still firm, and that's got a nice new leaf coming. So it's happy in there, and this is the difference of, you know, I wanted the two together in here, the two white ones. But this is the difference of getting one that's been abused. And it's patience. And if you know, this one's fairly firm, but still wrinkly. And we're just being patient. It could take a year, but it's got the other one to keep it company. And my other one, since the end of December, I mean, I'm not cutting it off. I'm going to let them do what they want. So it has beautiful blooms showing no signs of leaving, plus a leaf. And somebody did ask me, should you cut them off? Mine are in bloom a long time. This is longer than mine have been in bloom. But if I saw them starting to fade and drop, I would probably trim it then. And I usually like to, like this, I wouldn't trim here. What I do is I might maybe trim up here above this node. And then when it actually dries off later, when it's gone, then I would trim lower. Just a little safety precaution. So, well, you can see this one was done too, the new one. It was done high. And then when this does dry out, then I'll trim it lower. It's a little safety precaution. So the dendrobiums in their little cage. Watering day is Wednesday, so yes, it's dry on the top of the pots. Now the humidity, because we're hot and dry here, is 40. That's why I missed. I have water sitting underneath, and some of the plants that like to be lower are lower. So this one, it's been in this traffic cone quite a while, still in bloom. A little awkward, I got the long legs on that. So this one, I thought it was getting a bit too much sun, and therefore the purple, but I did move it back in, and still flowers. It's totally amazing. Of course, this one, Lavender Light, I repotted her. She was in the paint can, had been in there a long time, and she really, to be honest, she did take a bit of a shot just being repotted, but some of her roots were stuck. And if I wasn't putting her in a different pot, I would have just shook the bark out. But she'll be fine, and I see down inside a new leaf coming. So lots of new leaves growing, flowers, and there's the spike coming on the big lip fell. She seems happy, but it's going to be really, really hot. They really do slow down if it gets too hot. But it's going to be hot in our house too because we do not have air conditioning. So we still, these ones I'll be trimming off soon because this one's fine, but the other one's starting to lose a couple flowers, so I'll be trimming them off soon. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Not too much exciting happened today, but we're busy. So, you know, if you believe you can, you can. Bye for now.